What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 97 of Valley Town. I'm ChanManV. Joining me, my two co-hosts, Noxious and Zalae. What's up, fellas?
Yes,
Yo.
doing good as usual.
All right.
It's a beautiful
As usual.
day.
It's a beautiful day. It definitely is. And it's a beautiful day to have our first-time guest, Mr. Ponyhoff here, joining us from
Hello.
Germany and probably during his normal bedtime. So thanks a lot, Pony, for being awake and hanging out with us today.
No problem. I'm really excited. I always wanted to be on the show, actually.
Awesome.
So thank you for inviting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
You're
gonna be
looking
a lot of
great
fun.
in that Superman shirt, man. Can't have a pride. Fill it out well.
Pony Gay in the chat, thank you.
Good stuff. Well, lots of things to talk about again, mostly cards, of course, but we do have some events to talk about, as well as the big heroic Tavern Brawl that finally came out last week. Actually, it came out, did it come out before last week's show or right after last week's show? I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think it was the week.
I think
the
it
week
was like
before
right.
that. I'm not-
I
or
think
at
it
the
was
same
like literally
time.
right before it. Yeah. So, I didn't get a chance to talk about it too much last week, but now it's over. I can really assess how it went. So we'll definitely do that. We have our own little stories, so we all got a chance to do it some. And then obviously we'll talk about a lot of the cards. The Jade Lotus cards came out, as well as some of the Shaman cards for the first time. So we got about, I don't know how many cards we got here, like 15 cards, maybe 16 cards to talk about. And of course
more
there'll
than
be
that, yeah.
another card that's revealed during the show, as always. So I'm sure there'll be something tacked on at the end. And then at the end, we've got some questions. We got a lot of email questions. Hype! Finally, we've got some email questions, probably a lot of them from the audio listeners too. So we're going to go through those first, and if we have some more time, we'll take some questions from Twitch chat as well as Twitter. You can tweet those questions over to myself, at ChanManV, and we'll take a look at them. All right, guys. Well, why don't we start with the heroic Tavern Brawl? And I guess let's hear about everybody's experience with it. How many times did you guys play it in total?
Maybe
11.
like 7.
11. Okay, 11 from Pony, 7 from Zalae. Noxious, you were playing on the plane and stuff too, right? Or something crazy.
I was playing it on the plane for the first attempt with a druid. I played aggro druid.
Yeah, playing
which
on the
didn't do
plane.
too
Bad
well.
idea, man.
Yeah, don't. It's
Bad
not a good idea. So I lost one. So I went like 5-3, I think, or 6-3 with the
okay.
aggro druid, which wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And then second attempt, I made some jank ass priest deck, went 4-3, and then the next time, the only reason I logged on or made the deck is because somebody in the chat was like, "Why aren't you playing the Tavern Brawl?" And to make a point, I went in, paid 1,000 gold, made a priest deck with every random card I could, and conceded 3 times in a row. Because that
I think I
bad.
faced one of those
What
priest
the
decks.
heck? Why couldn't you have? You should tell me when you're going to be like queuing during that time.
Sure, no problem, dude. I'll let you know next time. No
Yeah,
issue. I'll just hit
1,000.
you up,
That's
like,
expensive. 1,000 gold.
But the thing is, like, I don't need the gold. I was just trying to, because people were harassing me to play that shit. Like, it was the best thing that's ever happened to Hearthstone. I don't think so. It's not for me. You know, like some people, they want the competitive aspect of Hearthstone to be emphasized, and I don't mind that. Like, I love the competitive aspect, but I don't think that was a good way to implement it. We've already discussed that. You know that.
Yeah, we can.
topic
Well,
before.
we can definitely get all our feelings on it too. So you obviously didn't like it for sure.
Yeah.
So I played it 5 times, and who got 12 here? I got 12 once. I got 12 once.
Same.
So
Yeah.
Only 11.
I actually got it on my second try too. So which one? Oh, 11. I saw that 11 run. You were so close on that. You got screwed really hard at the end by RNG.
Shaman stole my bike.
Exactly.
That's all
Stole your bike. Freaking Zalae stole your bike, because I know Zalae did it with Shaman.
Yeah. I mean,
Everyone
I
did.
did it with
do
Dragon
once,
Warrior.
right?
Yeah. Well, let's talk. Let's just take a look at some of the decks. That may be a good place to start here. Yeah.
Shaman stole my bike.
So Shaman stole my
That's a
bike.
good one.
Let me bring up Zalae's. Actually, we'll bring up Zalae and mine's real quick. Where'd you end up putting it? Oh, it's that Shaman you just sent me, right?
I think it's
Sorry,
in there.
give me a sec, guys. I just got it, so it's gonna take a second. Here we go. All right, so this is Zalae's Shaman. Why don't you talk about it a little bit? I'll bring up my Dragon Warrior 2 here. There we go.
You know, pretty scummy shaman list.
That's pretty scummy.
And my general mindset was I wanted something that was pretty good against other shaman because that's like obviously the most popular thing in heroic brawl.
No question,
but
man.
I kind of wanted to avoid weapon destruction because I was seeing a lot of like tempo mage and zoo at the time.
Mhm.
But I have like fire elemental for that critical 3 damage number. I was playing Alakir instead of Ragnaros because Ragnaros shooting totems is not great, and Alakir attacking into like a flame tongue and a mana tide is great.
Yeah.
And it's the same role of being like a high end finisher while being a little bit more consistent in that matchup.
Yeah.
Maybe the most interesting card is just the Cobalt Geomancer.
Yeah.
Spirit Claws into spell damage is like super broken, and spell damage into Maelstrom Portal or Lightning Storm is also super broken. So even though Geomancer is like a comically weak looking card, the spell damage synergy cards in Shaman are so strong you can kind of support it sometimes with the draw from double mana tide and such.
Yeah, I mean, I played some. I was getting ready to play Shaman, and then like the Tavern Brawl ended on me. I was like, "Fuck!" All right, I didn't get a chance to actually try, but I did watch you play like your 12-win run with the Cobalt Geomancer, and it was huge. There were a lot of moments, especially in the mirror, that clearing the totems. Right? Yeah, clearing the totems, getting the 3 attack is. It just takes one turn sometimes against Shaman to win, or baiting out. I think it looked like just baiting out AoE. Like if you can just bait out AoE for not very much value, then you win that matchup a lot, right?
Yep.
I had a friend finish 4 out of 5, 12 wins if it's with a mid-range Shaman.
Sick.
That is
high roller.
Exactly, right? But a lot of games high roll. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Zalae's like, that's just the extreme end of variance, and ChanManV is like, this guy's a god. Like, I'm not so sure.
Well, I mean,
I think it's something in there closer to the Zalae, obviously. Yeah, he obviously plays it well too. I mean, he has to play it well.
I mean, you kind of have to, right? Like high rolling is only going to go so far.
Sure.
Yeah. So what he did was he double oozed it and dropped the Barnes, but he didn't play Fire Elemental or Alkir. It was just like your standard of standard, and all he did was just play double ooze. It was it was crazy.
That's cool.
So I was like, actually
really cool.
How did you avoid all those shitty mulligans where you just get freaking Thunder Bluffs and Drakes and you can't play shit for the first 2 turns?
He's like, it doesn't matter. I just hit my hero power and eventually I drop a 0-5/5 and I catch up at that stage, right?
Exactly. Well, that's
it helps out. It works a lot. That's the strength of Shaman, I think. Is like it can come back from bad spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like Spirit Claws plus anything is a good opening hand, right?
Yeah. Yep. You played some. Didn't you try a couple runs with Shaman, Pony, or no? Just one?
Nah, I just played everything else. But
that's right. That's right. I remember you.
Good for you.
You were being
Good
similar.
for you.
There we are. Exactly.
I have played like no single Shaman since Shaman got annoying, apart from once Totem Shaman because it was fun with the witch.
Yeah.
Totem Shaman.
Yeah, with the witch,
fun,
it was cool.
Man. Definitely.
I really didn't want to play Shaman. I just knew like I had to get a 12-win run, and like Shaman was the easy way to do it. So sure.
I took the approach that you kind of did, Pony. Like I basically tried to figure out a deck that would just beat Shaman as well as Mage too, because while I was playing, it was
stupid tempo mages.
Yeah, it was all tempo Mage, all Shaman. So that's what I derived was just that the Dragon package just generally is good against Shaman. And then, Warrior just has an extra element to it, which is, it's got some tempo cards too, like Horkron and whatnot. So ended up just building my own Dragon Shaman, threw in an Argent Horse Rider, is awesome against Shaman. So threw that in there too, and yeah, ended up winning. Actually, I lost my first 2. I lost my first 2 and won 12 straight.
That's pretty funny. The Horse Rider is good against tempo Mage too. It's a nice tech card for that
metagame.
Definitely
is. The bash, the slam into the Horse Rider is such a great, or even just Fiery War.
Just Horse Rider at 3/2, right? There's a lot of 3/2s in tempo Mage that need to die.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's definitely a good deck. It worked really, really well. Just crushed those 2. I basically started off playing against a priest. A priest, some was it Anyfin Paladin maybe, or just something that wasn't.
I tried that too. It works really, really well.
It does it does too. Anything if you can get the draws correctly, it's pretty good.
Sure.
But yeah, so I ended up getting 12 with that. I tried Firebats, N'Zoth Warrior once. God, those games were pain. I mean, it took too long, dude. It took me like 5 hours to get through just slow. Like 7 wins or 6 wins. I was just like, geez, this is too painful. I can't play this deck ever again. So,
baby, there's dinner. You're like, oh, I'm in the middle of something right now, and it's not ending.
I'm still hero powering. Sorry. So yeah, that didn't go too well for me too. So I ended up, I think I did a 5-3, a 6-3, a 7-3, and then 12-2. and then maybe another 5-3. Yeah, so just that 12-2, obviously an aberration there. So I'll take it though. Definitely
Well,
take it.
one is enough, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about some of, I guess, Pony's decks here.
I actually played the Nidalforia, and it took me 3 hours for 11 wins.
3 hours for 11 wins. Nice, man.
Maybe you just don't hero power fast enough, Chan, man.
I
Like,
know.
you need some
We took our
APM
time.
increase.
I must not, man. I was definitely roping a ton.
Yeah, if you're
I was
not
going
comfortable with
try
the
hard,
deck and the
man.
play,
I was totally
sometimes
going
that's what's
try
gonna
hard.
happen.
I haven't gone try hard in a long time, so I was going try hard during this.
Good on you, man. The good that you could enjoy it and focus. I was
Yeah.
not like, I'm sure in the different mindset, you know, if I were at an event or something and people were doing it, I would probably sit down and just like try hard it as well and just care a lot. But for some reason nowadays when I play solo, I have a hard time like just getting myself in the mindset of doing just Hearthstone and not doing 7-5 times like 50 on the side.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I know.
it
Paying the
just goes up
bills and
like, you play this
answering-
card,
yeah,
you
I
not
know.
play this card,
I
and then
know
I
what
just
you
kind
mean.
of lose track of everything.
Totally.
Oh.
All right, so
Try harding this must have been good though.
Milrogue here. So somebody had a post on Reddit that they got 12 wins with
That's
Milrogue,
why
and they
I
had a
played it.
guide too. So
Yes.
is it this
And
one?
I was
Is it
like, I
this
have
one?
to do it. Thank you for the guide.
0-3.
I'm the worst Milrogue player ever. I like never get it done. And I was like, well, what could possibly go wrong? Let's play 1,000 gold and go Milrogue. And we actually get 6 wins. It was hilariously working great. And the people were so sad losing against it.
The salt.
That's an
Like,
important
well,
part.
outside of the Valiance and 6 mana 5/5s that I can't play because everything I do is just getting countered.
Dude, I love
Like,
the
sap your
curator
totem
in that
golem.
deck, man. Like when I was watching it a few times, the curator's like so clutch, getting the oracles and even the Drake too. It's pretty.
I was
fun.
like so surprised how well the curator actually did. Even like after you gang up and then you are able to Reno only because of curator and
Curator because it's like,
it was fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a different type of Milrogue, and which is cool. And those at home that are listening in, it's backstabs, preps, shadow steps. It's kind of small on my screen, sorry. Blood Mage, Thanos, Doomsayers, Eviscerates, gang ups, of course. Sap, Bran, Cold Lights, Fans, Shadow Strike, and this is where it's kind of so refreshment vendors, Azure Drake. Was that a Skulker too, man? I love that Skulker card. And then a Reno, Vanish, and then the Curator. It's a lot of fun. You guys need to try it out if you haven't got a chance. What
I
decks
tried it
is
on
it
ladder.
particularly good? What decks is it?
It worked
particularly?
even on ladder.
Oh, it did. Okay, nice. Yeah, so everybody can go at it. That'd be definitely good. And then the other deck you have here, that's basically Firebats. Oh no, it's not. It's definitely heavier on the N'Zoth side.
I thought I saw it like on Mr. Yagut's first, I think, and I found it so interesting because it didn't ran Elise. But it was like, yeah, you damn don't need it in the mirror. You don't need it because you end up with like 5 cards left or 3 cards left and the monkey more often.
Right.
And having the N'Zoth trumps having a monkey often because when he drops the monkey, you're just like, oh, okay, N'Zoth, GG, game over, thank you.
True, but at the same time, if he saves the Brawl and you just N'Zoth, isn't it kind of? Well, I guess you have a lot of depth.
Well,
you have the
then you have
Twilight
to control
Summoner.
better
You
and
have to
draw
control
less
that.
You
cards.
both have to not play N'Zoth
Yeah.
and not play Monkey.
It's so chicken.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
totally a game of chicken.
And then
man.
whoever's ahead on fatigue, wins that way.
the game.
Yeah. So this warrior deck has your typical N'Zoth makeup. It's got the Twilight Summoners, which everybody I feel like is playing now in N'Zoth decks, with Barnes too, and any other element that's kind of special about it. Worth talking about.
Part of why Twilight Summoner is so good is just the interaction with Brawl. Turn 4 Twilight Summoner into the threat of turn 5 Brawl. Whether you actually have the Brawl or not, they don't know, and they have to think about playing around it. So a lot of times they're popping that 1/1 for you to play around the Brawl. So it's just like a pretty good 4-mana card at that point that has good and soft synergy.
Yeah, and you can keep it like that's the thing is that if they pop it and suddenly you can keep your Brawl if you even intended to play it in the first place. So you can use the 5/5 for trading, and then just use other tools on top of it.
Nobody
so
wants
it's
to
actually
pop
really
that
versatile
thing.
there.
Nobody
But you
wants
kinda-
to pop
yeah,
that
but you're
thing
kind
and
of
clear the
forced to.
board.
You feel forced
Exactly.
to.
Exactly. So good decks too. I mean, definitely decks to try out if you haven't gotten a chance. The warrior one's a little bit easier to play than obviously the Milrogue.
The
Milrogue
war
is
is like
tough
the
to play.
save out. Like if you just mulligan for the War Axe and then somehow get to turn 6 and then Grand Tournament Resident Sleeper game over.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the plan.
I like that plan.
I like that plan too. It sounds like a good one. But okay, so let's get, I guess, overall impressions of the Heroic Brawl. Noxious, obviously don't like it. Mostly just because I think you think that they could have done something different with it. More so.
I guess that's not the target audience again. Like
Mhm.
they definitely mentioned that they had a specific target audience in mind, which is the hardcore scene. And I think a lot of the pros that were playing this were just really excited to play it. But like to me, I didn't see the difference between that and ladder. So the only difference is that like there were the stakes, right? And to me, if you get excited about the stakes that are in a game, then it's just your dopamine receptors going crazy. Like I don't enjoy that specific thing. It's like rolling a roulette.
It's
I'm
gambling,
not a gambler.
basically.
I'm not a
gambling.
gambler. I'm not a gambler, and the stakes didn't appeal to me. They didn't make the game more fun.
Yeah.
So if anything, it just made it less appealing because you could see that it was that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like clear blatant.
it's funny. I actually felt the same way as Noxious. I'm also not a gambler, and I also kind of wasn't into it. My main issue with it was just the timing of it. It's like the worst metagame ever for this
Yeah,
for this
Yeah.
game mode.
True.
that's true.
Like I think it's a good thing for the game to have access to this kind of. I think it was clearly evidence. Like if you looked at just Twitch streamer numbers, all of the big streamers were streaming, and like the total viewership numbers for Hearthstone were insanely high. So like it's clearly something that people are interested in, even if a lot of people didn't participate because of the cost. It's still like it has to be good for the game to have access to this kind of thing from time to time. It just sucked that it was in the metagame where it's like, okay, well, if you want to win, you should be playing mid-range shaman, you idiot. And it's
You
like,
idiot. You know,
oh.
you must play this deck that's been oppressing us for the last 6 months now.
Yeah.
Pony, what'd you think, man?
The funny part is I'm exactly no gambler too, like those two, but actually the stakes made it more appealing for me because it was like, okay, let's throw in 1,000 gold, and like everyone is way more clutch about every win. I mean, it made me try hard. I never try hard on
That's
ladder. I just
exactly
completely
what I
YOLO on ladder.
Mhm.
But then suddenly for Tavern Brawl, I was like, okay, let's actually play a bit more focused and try to really get something good done.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was basically. I think me and Pony are probably in the same boat because I've talked about it on the show. It's been a long time since I've actually tried hard on the ladder, or even tried to get to legend. So this was more of a mechanism for me to do that, and it kind of felt good. Like I'm definitely not burnt out. From playing that type of Hearthstone. So having just like the few days or whatnot that I was doing it was kind of cool. It kind of made me want to play ladder a little bit again.
It's interesting. So the incentive of like potentially winning, or is it the fact
It was
that
the
we're
12
counting
wins.
and
It
losses?
was the 12
like,
wins. It was the
I was
12
gonna say
wins,
like
getting
if
the
they
12
added this
wins.
game mode without any
Yeah.
entry fee,
Yeah, the
like,
entry
if
fee. I didn't really care about the
that's
entry
shit,
fee or
it went-
the prizes.
you have to go 12-3 or 12-2. That is, like if would you play it as much and would you try hard as much? Because my issue with it was like I'm not behind the premise of it. I just don't know why there's an entry fee attached to it. Like it's.
I think the entry fee is just
because I love the idea of counting wins and losses. I love that. That's one of the cool things about Arena is you don't just play, until like a one loss thing. You have to keep track of your performance, and you can get an average count of that. And there's not much data in the client to tell you what your win and loss rate are. Like you just don't have that. So when you have it available, it of course gives you an incentive to try harder because you see how well you do. But I don't know why there had to be like a cost attached to it.
I think it's
Maybe,
just
maybe lower cost,
lower
like
cost.
500 would have been a little
I'd
bit
love
better.
a scaled cost. Like if you have no gold, you pay 100, and your reward scale with your entry fee.
That would be great.
Like
Sounds
you
good.
pay
So
1K, you can get like a ton, like 50 packs. You pay 100, get 5 packs. You know what I mean? Like it scales based on your investment in it. I feel like that would be more. It would make the game more accessible to a lot of people. But
So the one thing, I mean, I definitely agree that the accessibility was an issue, and there's like good and bad things about that. I mean, anything in Hearthstone should be accessible to the majority of the users, or all the users, ideally. And something like this, have everybody share in it would definitely be much better and likely more of a successful type of event. But at the same time, I think if you lessened it, it just wouldn't feel as special as on the high end too. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't know if it's done.
Yeah, the entry fee kind of
perfectly.
makes it like this thing, like really okay. The casual Hearthstone player takes like ages to accumulate 1,000 gold. Maybe as a good arena player, you do it faster, and then really like just pumping 1,000 gold in.
Yeah.
Because that makes it so appealing, even to watch, because you're like, oh, he put 1,000 gold in. I wish I had 1,000 gold.
yeah, and then they
it's
spend
a different
$10.
dynamic.
I'm willing to bet you that most of their entries were in money. Like I'm willing to bet.
I think so.
Like that it was all in $10.
I think so.
increments. It was rarely in 1,000 gold. Most
Yeah.
of the entries had to be paid in real cash.
I lost 8,000 gold in total, but it's okay.
I lost 3.
You had fun?
There's a free roll
Yeah.
one, so
It was
I
great.
know,
I
actually,
have
I lost
3
two,
left,
so-
so it's good.
yeah. So the one thing that I would say that I kind of went back and forth about was the limit. So originally when they announced the 5 limit, and I was watching everybody do it, and it was the first day was the biggest day because it was there was a lot of it was new. There was a lot of urgency to it. There was a lot of I only have 5 chances at this. So like if you're talking about try hard, it was super try hard. I think for at least the first few attempts and I think it reflected too just the community. We saw the biggest numbers like freaking Firebat like 50,000 or something at one point. I mean Firebat's never seen anything like that, right? During his run, and he didn't get to 12, right? So he was just on the way.
He went
there.
0-3 with Priest, and he's like, "Yep, I guess we're fucked."
No, he got to 11, I think, right, with his Oth warrior. But
Maybe, but I know he got 0-3 with one of his
he
runs
did. He
out of
definitely
something
did.
random. I'm not saying he got 0-3 max. Like, there's no fucking way.
No, that's
just
true.
like one of these runs. It's like you're watching one of the best Hearthstone players. At some point in the past, he wouldn't call himself that anymore, but he's still very good.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure.
Like even the best, have a lot of trouble, which probably equalized some of the I don't know if it contributes to people saying this is just RNG Stone, or if it helps people appreciate the 12 wins more. Like I'm not sure what it does because
I mean it's
there's a lot of viewers.
You don't have to think about that. I mean, it's really just about how it's new. Like nobody's gotten 12 wins, or at the time maybe nobody's gotten 12 wins yet. But the whole thing I'm trying to get at is that the five limit I felt originally was bad. It was just like, oh man, it'd be cool if like people can continue doing it. And then they extended it to 100, and then that's what you saw. And then what quickly happened was it just became normal. Like Zalae, for instance, right? You like your streams, like you were just playing it, like just as if it was like a normal ladder, and that reflected in the viewership too. It just started becoming not special anymore. So in the end, I wish they would have kept a limit. Maybe the limit should have been 7, like 5 instead of 5, but they should have kept a smaller limit so that A, you would keep this kind of freshness, and then B, there would be like even opportunity for, let's just say, smaller streamers or whatnot to have their moment in the sun too, when all the big streamers are done with their runs. Maybe they save their runs until the end of the week, right? Until like most of the people are done, and then they get a shot to just be be highlighted and trying to get 12. A lot of people didn't get 12 wins. A lot of the big streamers didn't get 12 wins, including I think you, right, Paul, until the last day of it, right?
I don't know which day I got it.
Yeah. Well, I think a few of them that I watched, like you guys didn't, or some of them didn't get it until the very last day. So what would have happened if they didn't get it, period? Then the next time they do it, it would be kind of big again. Now the next time they do it, I don't think other people will think it's as big of a deal. Like I think it hurt like the future Tavern Brawls by heroic Tavern Brawls by upping the limit in the end.
I can see that. Maybe 5 was too low, but 100 is too high.
Yeah,
it sounds
I think
reasonable.
10 is even too high.
100 time-wise even.
Yeah, exactly. So overall I think it was a positive thing for the community. Everybody got excited at least for a couple days or three days. But the future, I don't know what's going to happen the next time they do it. Hopefully they do it after the expansion's out, because there will be a different meta. But I hope it still feels
the people
fresh.
to spend a lot of gold for the expansion, and then they have to make another heroic Tavern Brawl.
Yeah, they have to do it again.
That's right. Just siphon all the gold first.
Maybe if the heroic brawl were like 1 per day, so you felt like you can't just spam them.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
So you want to log in every day and super try hard for that one session, and then you do your regular thing.
That would be cool. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea too.
I like that system. I actually like that system. If they're going to implement a system like this one that is going to be semi-permanent, then I really like that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some events that occurred this week, as well as one that's going to be happening too, which is the Dreamhack Open that's happening. I think it starts. Does it start today? Tomorrow,
No?
Probably tomorrow, right? But let's just start off with that Dreamhack. Obviously you guys aren't going because you guys are actually doing the show right now. Everybody else is like on either planes over there or they're just flying over there. But yeah, so anything worth mentioning, you guys, for the Dreamhack Open? I mean, it's always kind of cool to have the Grand Prix being a Swiss tournament, and I know a lot of the players love that format. But I don't know, anything about Dreamhack Winter you guys want to talk about?
I mean, it's just kind of like a big iconic tournament, right? Like that's why people are willing to fly all the way out there, even though it's like so cold and in the middle of nowhere, and it's this meta game, but it's that tournament.
It's
a
this
big
meta
deal.
game. Oh god.
Yeah.
Shamans.
You can only play it once, man, or you can only run it as one of the decks.
But
That's
yeah,
already worse enough for the day.
yeah, one and done.
Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna let like the Swiss bracket open all day, and I'm just like while streaming like at 5. Let's see what's happening. It's always interesting to see who actually makes it through the bracket. Like for me personally.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, I know Zalae's played in a few of the Dreamhacks, and I remember you at Dreamhack Austin, man. I mean, it's tough getting through those Swiss rounds, and it's exciting too. It's exciting watching everybody, and just that completely focused mode in the same room across, playing across from each of the players, and it's a really cool setting.
Yep.
All right, well, since not too much to say about Dreamhack, I guess we'll wait until after the event. Why don't we talk about some of the events that did happen? Redbull Team Sealed Brawl happened again this last weekend, actually on Saturday, I believe. Tempo Storm ended up winning. It's rigged. Totally rigged. Totally
It's always
rigged.
when Temple Storm wins, right? Always rigged whenever
They won the
Temple
the first one too, right? They won both of them.
Yeah. No,
Guess they're
just
pretty
kidding.
good at it.
Just kidding, guys. No.
It's as though they came up with the format.
Yes, exactly right. They wrote the tool too, but
Well, I've played a couple tournaments. I've played I think 3 of the 4 tournaments that are like in that, right? And I lost the one that was the Red Bull, but I won the 2 that were like individual. So
the World Series. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So you're not responsible for your losses in the Red Bull.
I might have had something to do with it.
No, but the event was great. I mean, it was pretty much what I expected. It was as fun as the last one. Pony, I know you really like this format, right? Like, did you?
It's my favorite. Just like seeing the players. Like, it's another skill set. It's not just like everyone can learn the mulligans, play a deck 100 games or 1,000 games, and then be good with a deck. I mean, everyone can do that. But really, like building decks from a limited card pool in a limited amount of time, together with other people, that's just like that's more skill than just playing Hearthstone. Yeah. And that's like what makes it really challenging and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. Yeah, I really love these kind of team formats where you're working with somebody. Like talking with somebody while you're playing Hearthstone is more fun than playing Hearthstone alone, and it adds a layer of complexity. Like time management becomes more of a factor. Like the rope gets a little bit more exciting if you're trying to figure things out with somebody instead of just on your own.
Makes sense.
Classic math issues like last time when the ropes coming
29
down.
for sure.
29 for sure. Yeah. No, but overall,
But yeah, team events are so fun.
Yeah, definitely team events, and when you get a chance to work to get, like you said, co-op on something, it's definitely great, and especially when it's going on at the same time. That's the thing I like the most about like the seal or the team brawl is that like you have people looking over each other, like looking over here. It's like, hey, dude, I actually need some advice on this play right here. Like, and they're playing at the same time, so it's like you're having that kind of interaction, which you don't see in any other event, not even any of the other team events. So the format itself, beyond just the sealed, is unique in its own sense. So one thing about the event I wanted to talk about is that the content itself is good. So when we look at the viewership of it, the viewership for me, just quite frankly, doesn't match what how good the content is. And I think it was somewhere around 15, 16, 17,000, like the max concurrence, what I saw, or what I saw in some graph of it or whatnot. And that's way less than I think it should have. Like this is the type of event that should have like 40,000, 50,000 people watching. Yeah. So what's going on here? I mean, is this like representative in you guys' mind of what the community just watches from the standpoint of smaller events that aren't HCT?
I think viewership often is pretty disconnected from the quality of content because of factors like promotion. The event was not hosted on like some big streamer's channel. It was like on a Red Bull channel somewhere. It's not something that people regularly tune into to watch Hearthstone content. And I didn't see the event being like super heavily promoted everywhere. Like I'm sure it had some promotion, but it wasn't like Batstone, for instance, level promotion, right? And so with those factors, you get a great event that maybe people don't know is going on and they don't know to tune in and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Noxious, what do you think, man?
I was gonna say like one of the big appeals of watching sealed events is that you watch the deck building, and there's a lot to be said about people just passing by an event and just hopping in to watch games. Like if you look at BlizzCon, for instance, you pass by Twitch and you watch, but if you watch a sealed event and you didn't see the deck building portion, it kind of sucks because you want to see the deck building go into games, and I don't know. I feel like the organic traffic just gets less retention because you're missing the coolest part of the portion, the format. That might have something to do with it.
I mean, I get the organic side of it, but I don't know. The Hearthstone community is way bigger than the Hearthstone, proper, just normal viewership on Twitch is way higher than that. So it was beyond just not getting the organics. Yeah, of course it's nice to get that extra 5,000-10,000 maybe from organics because of just some popular Hearthstone event that's going on, but ourselves as a community, we should be getting again 40,000-50,000. I think if people knew about this tournament, if they thought it was like the thing to watch right now too, it's easy. Like we've seen that in the past, and in fact, the first sealed tournament probably was close.
They
to
had way
30.
better promotion. Just as Zalae said, if like I only knew because I'm like following Redbull esports on Twitter, and that's like the only reason why I knew that the event pretty much is.
Yeah.
So it's like and if that happens, like not on Liquid Hearth or so, you can see something, then damn son, something is going wrong here when it comes down to marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. And they spend so much time and effort. I know like Frodan, does a lot to like plan that event or whatnot. So yeah, it's unfortunate they didn't get like crazy amounts. In the future, hopefully we'll see the promotion done well. It just shows you gotta promote. You gotta do every element of an event, from the actual organization of it, format of it, scheduling of it, as well as the marketing of it, which is probably the most important thing, actually.
But still, gotta say, 15K is a great number.
It is. It's
right?
a good number.
It could have been lower.
Yeah, it could have been lower.
I mean, I guess you're used to BlizzCon, level. I mean, you're hoping like for 40, 50K type stuff, but
Absolutely.
Truth is, like when you're not watching an individual usually is a lot more appealing for most people who watch Twitch than watching like an event. And then you have events that don't get promoted or don't have like professional feel to them or not enough spam, and then suddenly it doesn't get traction. And again, like I feel like you're underestimating really the format being not as interesting when you don't know what the fuck's in the deck. Like how I can expect to watch a Malagos Druid deck in a tournament and be like, yeah, I know what's left in that deck after watching one game.
I know what you mean.
But in sealed, it's a really, really big like deal breaker not to be able to.
It's like watching a random deck almost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like watching a guy autofill, right? Like if you don't know what's in it, it's like, okay, what am I watching really?
So you think
your
it's
decision
actually
making would be inaccurate. You can't predict a play because you don't know what's next.
So maybe if the tournament organizers had like deck tracker on the screen, right, with like a list of what's all in the deck.
That would probably make it a lot more watchable. But like stupidly enough, it's one of those small features that I think might make a difference.
No,
that makes
make a huge difference. Yeah,
I wonder if tournaments will ever start doing that. Just like, why not? Have all that information available.
I like it.
I mean, you guys know the decks already, so like, why not? Yeah, absolutely.
But it makes the game more followable. Like if you didn't watch it from start to finish, it's good to know what cards are remaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just some more information.
Then the cast doesn't have anything more to do. They don't have to memorize what's left.
What is left in his deck? Oh wait, let's argue over this possible card that we didn't catch come out on turn 2. Are there 2 copies? And 7 turns later, they finally settle it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to ATLC 2 qualifiers, which Zalae actually has been casting this entire week. Actually, yesterday I think you were casting with Amaz, right?
Yeah, cast with Amaz and Purple, and
Purple
been a bit of a rotation.
Yeah, cool. So how has the whole thing been going? I caught a little bit of it, didn't get a chance to watch a lot of it.
Right, it's pretty fun. It's like there's 4 weeks of qualifiers. We've done 3, and we have 1 week left. So it started with 32 players, and we're going to end up with 3 winners. So we've cut from 32 down to 8 in the last week, and the last week's different from the previous weeks. It's going to be just each day is an 8-man single elim event, and the winner of that is like a winner of the qualifier.
Right.
So like the first one's an actual 8-man. The second one only has 7 because the winner is doesn't play again, obviously. And then one person gets a bye. That's the person who finished second in the first one. Then in the third one, it's like a 6-man playing an 8-man bracket. 2 people get buys. It's the people who finish second and third in the second one, right? So that's the way that's going to work. And the competitors are, we got our world champion Pavels in there. Yep. My teammate Muzzy, Powder, Sidonia, Noise, AK Wonder, Yagut, and Torque.
Lots of
and these guys, They played like 20 matches to get here of basically Swiss,
Yeah.
roughly.
It
So
sucks
it's
that
like,
Justin got destroyed though. Like, I mean, destroyed. Felt bad.
Did he?
Yeah.
What happened to him? I didn't even.
I
see.
think dude, he got completely. He went. I think he didn't
Went,
win
like,
a
0-4
single
1 week.
set, right?
Oh,
I mean, it's a tough tournament, a lot of good players.
There's a
That's
lot of
going to
good
happen to
players,
some of the
yeah.
good players. That's the
Yeah.
nature of Hearthstone. Somebody's got to lose at the end of it. And yeah, it sucks to see just saying lose because he's a friend of mine, but it's happening to somebody.
Yeah.
Or almost everybody at the end of the thing. Really.
At some point, it happens to everybody. Yeah.
On the meme side, though,
On the meme
Two Beers
side.
was there. Two Beers is in, right? Like the guy who actually ended up winning. I say meme
Two
side
Beers,
because he's
Two
the guy
Beers.
who got the arena
110
challenge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think
he
he's
made it-
still in, right? He's like,
No,
in-
he's not in the top 8 right now. He
Oh,
got
okay,
cut
that
from
sucks.
16 to 8. In the most recent week, he got eliminated.
oh, that's
Yeah.
But he made it pretty deep into the tournament.
That would have been pretty sweet to see Two Beers get through. Just a raw good player, you know, good.
so I guess he
Hearthstone player.
lost week 3. That sucks. No, I was rooting for him. Too bad.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see how it plays out, and then those 3 qualifiers, for those of you that might not be keeping up with the ATLC, will form their own team when the actual championship is announced, and just the details of that. So yeah, I think the winners get something too, right? This tournament is is a tournament in itself.
Right. They're going to get, I guess, a full streamer set up, like everything you would need
Okay.
to.
So equipment
No,
and
that's
stuff.
cool.
Okay, that's odd. That's nice.
Even though if you
Oh,
don't
with
stream,
an
it's
actual
cool.
camera? Nah, come on.
Well,
Like
is it
computer,
Pony's
everything.
setup, or is it more like what like Noxious? Well, Noxious setup is actually decent too. So I don't know. But okay, cool. Very, very good. So why don't we talk about some cards here? Lots of cards. This is always
the good stuff.
This is always fun. These guys are just get the other crap over
Talk
with.
about
it.
new
Let's just-
expansion, man. Like,
exactly.
it's
Can we
the
just
only thing going on in Hearthstone.
Like, it's, but for you guys, we gotta talk.
Dude,
about
I didn't even see the first card that's coming now.
it. Okay,
Like
so
the first time.
oh, the
New
the
feed.
ooze. Okay, yeah. So I mean, we have a few that might be considered old, but we just haven't talked about it on the show. We're not talking about every single one on the show, but I figured we'd talk about some of these. All right, the first 2 that we're gonna talk about, we're gonna go 2 at a time, or just some kind of grouping. Is we've got the Toxic Sewer Ooze, so an upgrade to our, just to our ooze. 3 mana, 4/3 body. It's battle cry. Remove 1 durability from your opponent's weapon. So it's not quite like Swamp Ooze where you destroy the thing. You only just remove 1. So more like the Corsair. What do you think about this?
I'd say generally it's lower power level than a 6 Swamp Ooze. The higher mana cost means it's like less easy to fit it into turns where I want to destroy their weapon and do this other thing.
Yeah.
And also obviously it's destroying 1 charge instead of all of the charges. That said, that doesn't mean it's useless. There's going to be decks where maybe you want both, or maybe you just feel like a 3-drop fits your deck better than a 2-drop, or maybe you feel like a 4/3 is a better kind of body size for the metagame than a 3/2. So there's some ways it could maybe see play here and there, right? Like maybe in a Reno deck, you just want that extra weapon destruction effect.
When you're sick of that pirate aggressive warrior, you just throw it all in there.
I mean,
Just
the truth is,
kill
like,
that
if there's
Gunkan
ever
that
such a
Reaper.
thing as a pirate aggro meta deck, like this
Yeah.
probably just destroys their momentum. Like you've got double ooze, and this has 3 possibilities of drawing removal by turn 3. Like we're talking about it very early, not Harrison Jones level.
Four.
It's like super quick. And I think what's cool about the card though is, it's actually more useful for arena players, right? Like because there's
Yeah,
not
I
that
think
much
so,
weapon
too.
hate in arena, right? Like it's one of those cards that Bloodsail Corsair is just a terrible rare. Like why would you draft that over every other rare in the set usually? Whereas this is a common. It's not taking a premium spot, and it's got decent stats. I don't know if Zoo ever runs this over like an ooze. I don't think so.
Nothing
Ever need
super
weapon
would
removal?
sound good. Or like general for Warlock. Like I always feel Reno Warlock is like missing that 3-drop apart from
Mm.
like you have in Gang Boss, and then that's like it, or Earthen Ring Farsia. But having like another 3-drop just on curve, sometimes even against Shaman, if you just get one charge of the claw gone, it helps.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think Reno Lock is like maybe where this would go. I don't see it seeing a lot of play in constructed, but Reno Lock is one of the more likely homes.
yeah.
All
All right,
Reno
next
Priest or Reno Mage that's coming up now. Just,
Reno,
there's so
yeah.
much
Oh,
Reno
yeah.
stuff coming
No,
in the next
that's-
set.
That's true. All right, next card, 6 mana. This is an epic card, 4/4 body, fight promoter. It's kind of cool name. Battle cry: if you control a minion with 6 or more health, draw 2 cards. Man, I just see when I see this card, I just think, okay, 7/7 with this card. This sounds pretty good. Under 10, maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's tough to get that battle cry effect to work.
It does. It's pretty hard.
It's got that classic sort of Bloodlust Winmore sort of feel to it, where like, how often do you play a game of Hearthstone and like your minion with 6 or more health sticks around and then you lose? Like,
So
it
I'm
can
gonna-
happen, but a lot of times people clear your board.
I'm gonna show you my friend Jade Idol.
We're gonna get to Jade Idol.
The one mana
Don't
6/6.
show Jade Idol.
The one mana 6/6.
Okay.
Just or the Arcane Giant.
But again, when you
or
have a
dude,
1
the
mana
Shaman,
6/6, maybe you're already
7/7.
winning.
I don't
Arcane
know.
Giant's
Yeah.
a good point. Maybe
Yeah.
you can play this with Arcane
Yeah,
Giant.
Arcane Giant
In the
could
same
work,
deck,
too.
right?
Yeah,
like
that's
you
true.
could be literally in the same
so
spell
clunky.
druid. Yeah, a 1-of I think it's fine.
What
as one of
already
those
is
decks.
thought about? What if you buff it yourself with like Hosen or so? Like you make it a 6/6 in your hand, and then you
Right.
like use it.
Wisp. You buff the
Oh,
Wisp
that's
with
true,
Hydro, and
too.
you make it a 6/6.
Oh,
You drop
dude,
0 mana
yeah, that's
6/6,
true.
Draw 2 cards.
It's like unlikely.
Honcho
Like
your
Arcane
Wisp.
Giant is probably the most possible thing. But even then, if you play an Arcane Giant, do you need it?
Yeah. But there's Priest, right? It has that new 3/4 that plus 3 health and powered shield. So like maybe there's some ways to make it. It's hard to get it to go off, but there's a pretty big upside if you do.
I guess Priest struggles for card draw too, right? That's one of their big drawbacks. So maybe they could.
I mean,
Like if they
that's-
play more tempo based, they will suck at drawing. That's usually the trend. Is if you play control, your hand is full of stuff,
Yeah.
and if you play tempo, you're just starved for cards to actually draw with.
Yeah.
That could be a good inclusion in Priest.
Yeah, maybe. I still find it pretty hard. I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of like it's an ancient of lore, but it has a huge condition.
What if you buff it? Like that's
it's-
my question. What if I buff this one to a 6/6? Does it draw?
It should.
Yeah,
theoretically.
yeah, it should totally.
Chat's
it should.
saying that Ben Brown hinted that it works that way. So
The what?
What? That if you
the
buff
chat
something.
is saying
Chat.
It
I don't
works.
know. I don't know what chat says. What
So
does
if you
chat
buff
say?
something on the board, right? If you just buff something and then use this, it works. Is that what you're saying?
no. If you buff it while it's in your hand and it's like your only minion and you play it, chat is saying
So this counts as it. Oh, okay.
What? Okay, that's
Seriously?
playable then.
That's
I don't know if that's
an
true.
ancient of war then, lore, but
Dude,
for
it's
6
better
mana.
than that.
Well,
It's 6/6
It's an ancient of lore
for
for 6 mana. That's crazy.
Well, you have to buff it. You have to play this card, and you have to play cards that buff it, and you have to get all of that to
Yeah,
work.
and
No,
it
I'm
has to
telling
be
you,
the
this is
only
a
card in your
Mr.
hand
Challenge
If you're
of the
playing
new
a-
game deck.
But if you're playing a Grime Street deck, this thing's going to be buffed. I mean, let's come on, right? Like if you build a deck that's going to be all about buffing your hand, there's going to be a lot of cards that buff your hand. So
Yeah, your
Sure,
hand
but
is
is
going to
that
be
deck
like
any good?
super buffed.
yeah. I don't know if the
If
deck's
you
in
can
the
draw
deck,
2
but
cards for
it's-
6 mana and get a 6/6.
Yeah, it's intriguing card. It's,
Maybe.
it's a little bit more intriguing that you can
Yeah.
buff yourself and it counts. That's interesting. That's kind of crazy. Okay. All right, let's do the next cards here. All right, what's the next ones here? We've got Hosen Healer, which Pony just mentioned, and then Burgly Bully. So we'll talk about Hosen Healer first. 4 mana, 2/6, Battlecry, restore a minion to full health. Pony, you want to talk about this card?
Yeah, I guess it's like it's good dust, but for
Good
arena
dust?
maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a comment. So for arena, I see it like as a possible thing, or if you're like playing some crazy faceless shambler handlock with arcane giants, some buff heal out of nowhere for your Twilight Drake, why not? I mean, if you can heal it from 4/3 back to 9,
Yeah.
not that bad,
Yeah.
and you can taunt it like really good with Argus, so great vanilla stats.
Okay. Noxious,
I'm trying to
you
think.
see anything? You see anything, Noxious, with this
I
card?
do. I mean, Felork, Soulfiend, and Injured Blade Master and Priest
Yeah.
are playable, so this is just a way to
Dude, Soul Priest
like
in this
the
thing,
3/7 becomes a 3/5. You trade away, it becomes a 3/1 or whatever. Then you can make it a 3/7 again, and then suddenly you go from having no transition into your mid game to just, well, good luck. This is hell now. It's just one of those. Priests can keep minions alive very, very well. My question is like, is a format 2/6 better in that deck than another 4-drop? Because I don't think that deck has any 4-drops it wants to play already. Like Priest has a bunch of 4-drops. It's got a ton of them, but I don't think there's one besides Priest of the Feast that fits. And the question is, do you ever really play Hosen Healer on top of Priest of the Feast instead of Akanai, like in the tempo deck?
I like that kill combo that you mentioned, like with Soul Priest, and then
Yeah,
you just
I mean, that's all I see.
obliterate a
That's
minion
all I see
completely.
in this. Yeah, it's like
Is that how that works?
yeah,
Yeah, you
removes
could
a minion.
target an enemy minion and blow it up.
It kills any minion.
So you could
basically, with
embrace
Soul
the
Priest.
shadow and kill something straight
Yeah.
up, dude, like that.
Okay. Is that confirmed? Because I'm looking through it,
It
like
is,
I'm
yeah.
just trying to
It's
think
like
through
Reno.
the logic of it.
It's like
It's
Reno,
like
the
it's
same thing.
so people have confirmed it because ancestral healing works that way
Works
too.
the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a restore health. So that's what I see. I see yet another removal, like full body removal for priests, and that's scary. another.
It's definitely better than the 5 and a 4/5 in terms of
That's
killing
true.
stuff with.
Yeah.
Right? Like the whatever its name is.
the alchemist, right?
Yeah.
The one that heals. Yeah. So, you know, the 2/6 body is a concern just because it's too small. It can be removed, especially mirrors. It just can be easily removed. But in terms of the battle cry, that's extremely powerful for priest.
And my healing a Ragnaros away can be like nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you have enough means like this, but still.
Or killing like a Twilight Drake, killing any 4-man. Now they have like ability to kill 4 attack minions easier, like Ragnaros.
I mean,
Malagas.
Even just actually healing something, right? Like
Yeah,
we're
that
talking
too,
about
it has
this
the
janky
option of
combo. It's
healing
like
something,
sure,
yeah.
we can do the crazy combos, but the only thing that Priest has to massively heal an injured Blade Master is like circle of healing. And then
Yeah.
oftentimes you
That's
just
true.
have to use 2 mana every turn without getting any tempo just to keep it topped off. Halting Healer says you get something on the board, plus you heal your dude back up. With 4 3-drops, actually 6 3-drops if they wanted with the Arakoa. They could go like Injured, Orfel, or Soulfiend and Arakoa and
yeah.
play this on top.
Hard to kill it,
I mean,
right?
like,
Pretty hard to kill.
yeah.
Okay, well, Burgly Bully, next one, 5 mana, 4/6 body. It's an epic card. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, add a coin to your hand. Pretty interesting. Pony, like, what do you think, man?
I guess it's like Lothab was. You can just put it in your deck once in almost every deck and just be happy about having it. I mean, you just pop it on turn 5 and you're like, okay, deal with it. If the enemy has no minions and he's not a weapon class, he's already like going to give you at least 1 coin, if not 2. And even if Shaman hexes it, it's a coin, so you can go for even better curve plays in the end. So I guess like 1 in every, like, Druid definitely, Warrior maybe, even in aggro decks. I mean, if you put that like in Zoo and you just pop it on turn 5, it's still freaking annoying. Needs to get removed, gives you more coins, and you can swarm even harder.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue too. I mean, Rogue just loves coins. So, Zalae, what do you think?
I have to disagree with that. I look at this card and I see Spectral Knight, not Lothab. It's a 5 mana 4/6 that kind of punishes them for, needing to play spells to deal with things instead of being, if they're on board, it's just kind of unimpressive, right? They can just deal with your 4/6.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the same body as Spectral Knight, but like Lothab really cuts off those options. You literally cannot play most of those cards.
Yeah.
With Burgly Bully, you can still play all those cards. The only punish is a coin. Like for instance, if Zoo gets a coin, a lot of times at that point in the game, it's hard for them to use that at 1 extra mana. It's not that big of a deal if they get it. Like, yeah, a mana is significant, but it's on like turn 6 at the soonest. A lot of times, Zoo can float a mana in those, float 1 or more mana in those turns because they're just, they draw 1 drop, tap 1 drop, that they got nothing, right? So it's certainly not in every deck, and I think it's one of those cards that might be in no decks. It might be relevant here and there. It's kind of like for punishing a druid who's not on board, that kind of thing. But you kind of have to be playing a deck that uses coin pretty well, and you have to be playing against a specific kind of deck. Like this card is just never strong against Zoo, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
But I think Zoo's getting shut out with the expand. Well, not shut out completely,
Well,
but
there's a lot
it's
of
getting
removal.
it's
Yeah.
getting hit pretty hard with pint-sized potion shenanigans. It's like, and the AoEs are getting better. The volcanic potions is pretty good against Zoo in general. Like I think a lot of the stuff that's coming out is just going to make Zoo not worse because Zoo's always good, but like it's getting a lot of retaliation from people in general, and I think that's intended on Blizzard's side, right? They just want to negate the whole, let's just give you more tempo when you get tempo, like
Yeah.
keep snowballing out of control, which is why they have a lot of investments in your future, like Jade Golem or the Grime Street stuff. I think Burgly Bully is a sleeper card for the
I
set.
do too.
This is my sleeper card. Like this is my sleeper card of the set because it just looks like nothing, but it's the most irritating effect in the universe because you have to, like, the amount of variables of what your opponent can do when it's up on the board after you've killed it with a spell, or if you've just traded into it, you've already wasted a lot of tempo. Unless you're Zoo, you've expended a ton of resources, and if you're Zoo, you use a PO on a small minion, you've given them a coin. That's just right there, really annoying because then they can coin Flame Strike, whatever the case may be. It's like one of those really pesky cards that doesn't seem good.
I agree with you. I agree with you a lot too. I think this card is probably going to be underrated, and I just think of the coin. I mean, right now our mindsets are so like on Shaman right now, and so much on even Zoo right now. But I think you're right, Noxious. I think a lot of the removal that's being added to the game will change the meta game. You know, will suppress those two decks specifically, and so if we have decks that will be more mid-range tempo based. Say let's just throw out a hunter. Like a hunter is probably something that nobody thinks about with this card, right? Let's say a hunter plays this on turn 5, then it gets a coin, and then maybe Call the Wild comes at 8 again, and then it's just you know, that's kind of
just right on 7, whatever.
Yeah.
It is pretty spooky.
Yeah, it's like a.
I like this a lot in Hunter because Hunter does need a 5, and Hunter is looking for these sort of aggressive minions that. Yeah, this is like Hunter is looking for this card.
Mm-hmm,
I think that's a really good point.
It could be okay in Rogue too. Rogue, you could probably get one. Oh, what was that, Pony?
Don't give the people ideas.
Don't give them ideas. Well,
I mean,
Rogue's pretty
that's
heavy.
what this show's all about, man. Is giving people ideas.
Extra Tomb Pillager in Rogue, and the thing is, like, you know how coin is played in Rogue, the 0-cost coin that they're adding. If that's played, then you want an extra, like, something to curve into that's going to give you back that investment. That's another one of those. Like Tomb Pillager is. This is another one of those cards that could give you back the investment you put in, card wise. So I don't think it's necessarily as bad as it seems.
Yeah, it's definitely some interesting aspects to it. Okay, so we got a mage card. This is probably the only mage card we have this week. It's a 6-mana 5/5 Cabal Crystal Runner. It's a rare card. Costs 2 less for each secret you've played this game. So it sounds awfully familiar to a Shaman card that we have, except for it doesn't have a taunt. It doesn't have a taunt on it, but it does. It does require you to actually play cards to make this thing effective, or to run cards to make this effective. So you know, I think we're looking at a 0/5/5 card here, probably in a secret mage. But I don't know. What do you guys think about just secret mage generally, Zalae?
Yeah, it might be good. They're definitely printing a lot of cards to push the archetype. I hate when they push archetypes like this, like sort of pre-built decks. But most, like, I don't want to be negative, but I feel like secrets are just like one of the worst parts of Hearthstone because of the way they're designed. They make these secret cards that are just so bad you never want to play them on your own, and then they make these secret support cards that are just completely broken, overpowered when everything's working. And so what you get is these super high variance games where either you draw your secrets and it's like a horrible draw and you never win, or you draw everything perfect and it's like super overpowered and you never lose. And it feels like there's less in the way of like balanced gameplay.
Okay, that's interesting.
I wish the secrets were stronger and the support cards like this were weaker, and it was just like a little bit more consistent.
I see what you mean.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
The secret cards are too weak and the support cards are too strong.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's just like you're forced to play shitty secrets just so you can get these cool cards out. Kind of like I don't know, secret. I guess the serious challenger to some extent too. Pony, what do you think, man?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of like Zalae's attempt to that. It's like you might have a great idea with those cards, but they're like so easy delivered for the mass. Like, okay, I'm going to build a secret deck now because, well, it's super convenient. And it's not like that you actually have to sit down and like construct something amazing with maybe that little twist that you found out. Mm-hmm. So it's like easy delivered decks. But then again, for the broad mass of Hearthstone players, that's something cool. I mean, as you say, this high variety of games where you just get completely stomped or you lose. Well, if you only play 3 to 5 games a day or only in your break and you play like Casino, Secret, Cabal, Crystal Runner Mage, that's exactly the game people want. You know, they're just going to slam a 5-minute game and go bongos crazy on secrets, and then they go back to work and they smile the rest of the day.
Well, as long as that deck's not super strong, though. Like that's
exactly.
Not, you know, like played at the highest.
I don't think it will be.
Oh, you mean like Secret Hunter when it actually works?
Yeah, when
Secret Hunter's in a good place balance-wise, right? I think they did well there.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm sad it doesn't work with lock and load, but you know that's just lock and load being lock and load. If lock and load were 1 mana, it would like that might be a deck, but at 2 mana, it's just like 1 mana cost too high to be actually a deck archetype. Crystal Runner is interesting to me because I don't like the design of it, as in like I really, 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 really hate cost reduction effects. Like I loathe them with a passion, but on the flip side, Secret Mage isn't exactly notorious for, you know, being amazing. But when Cabal, Lackey, and this come together to make like the turn 1
Tempo,
Suddenly you
tempo,
already have a
tempo.
format of, because the thing is you have to look at it as like, you know how Arcane Giant, every single spell you play is an innervate. Well, every single secret you play in this deck is like a double innervate. So it costs you really like it gives you 1 free mana when you play a secret. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's the
Yeah,
way I
when-
look at it.
If you think about it, like
sure,
you could go 1 mana 2/1, put a free secret in play, then turn 2 you make a 2/3 and deal 3 damage to their guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing
and
is,
then this guy's coming
well,
out for cheap. It's
yeah,
scary.
and Kirin
what can
Tor
happen.
Mage is good too when you have Cabal Lackey. Like Kirin Tor
Yeah,
Mage is
that's true.
bad, but
That's
when you
actually
have the extra 2, like the 1-drops that do the same thing, suddenly the density of secrets and minions that reduce their cost is big enough that maybe we reach critical mass where they curve so naturally into like a board that's unanswerable before turn 5 that you're just like, well, okay, I guess I'm fucked because like you're at 5 health, top like a fireball, and you're dead.
Yeah,
It's one of
Tempo
those-
Mage will actually be Tempo Mage. Like, not this
Yeah,
kind of weird
this is
pseudo
definitely
combo tempo thing that it is right now. Like, we'll actually see like minions forcing tempo like heavily or doing most of the damage, I think, in the near future. Yeah, so I think what's interesting about this card too is that it could make Effigy decent too. Like Effigy, I feel like is a card that's like a secret that's hard to make work, and maybe it's gonna make Effigy playable to some extent. Because like, how are you gonna play a ton of secrets right now in Mage? It's like
Yeah, you can't. Even with Kirin
It's
Tor
hard.
it's hard.
Yeah, we're missing
you know?
duplicate. It was so beautiful.
Duplicate. Oh, okay, yeah, duplicate.
It was always a secret you could kind of play.
That's
You could get
true.
good value from a 2-drop, 3-drops, 4-drops. But effigy's like on a 2-drop, okay. On a 3-drop,
Right,
On a
right.
4-drop, well, yeah, okay, good. But somehow like duplicate was just way cooler because of the battle cry stuff that you just get back.
Yeah. Even getting like 2 mana worms was like not
But
terrible.
I thought I thought it was bad. I thought duplicate was terrible if you didn't have Echo of Medivh in your deck too. Like every time I played duplicate, it's not true because you could play it in Tempo Mage, but for the most part, whenever I played duplicate, I'm like, this deck would be so much cooler with Echo of Medivh. So
What if you
I
got it
think
for
there's, like-
free though? Like, let's say you got duplicate for free though, and
do I want 2 Cabal Lackeys?
I don't
To
know.
Maybe I
If,
do.
I'd rather
again,
Kirin
it's
Tor
Tempo,
Mages.
right? You
yeah,
just get
Kirin Tor
no
Mage is
free
better. That's true.
But the whole point about like the tempo mage is that what scares me is like the best answer to this 5/5, like if you ever have you need an AoE that does it is like Brawl or a Dragonfire Potion or Felfire Pot, which comes like turn 5 or 6. There is no clear removal for this, like in a 1 card before later. And if they happen to have a counterspell, I mean, Jesus Christ,
Yep.
like this is a big deal.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, the counterspell definitely still has a place for sure. All right.